that's the number in the waiting room. I got 2. Michael Flaherty's getting in, and I'm gonna also, yeah, Michael Flaherty. Do you know how it's 3's on the phone? Is that it, or?
I'll check.
Morning, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Morning, Michael.
Morning, everybody.
It's on a laptop.
Okay. If he could turn his camera on.
Morning, everybody.
Hi,
I
Nisha.
need some.
Michael. Okay, with the goatee.
I'm in.
Hey, little salt and pepper in there.
Yeah,
putting it
see
nice.
that? That's how I roll. Don't have
Very-
a choice. Don't have a choice.
Michael, I see the flag in your office, and I don't have a flag in my office. Is that something that,
I got it actually when I got elected. I got it as a gift, so it's a nice little item.
yeah, no, it's beautiful. But I noticed it, Eddie's got his, and I noticed Kenzie's got one, but I don't know, what do I have one? Do you have one in your office, Lydia?
I don't. I mean, I have the what did Sal leave me? He left me a couple things, but no flag.
Kenzie got hers from Althea.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. All right.
Property management has flags, Anissa.
No, yeah, I noticed it in a couple of the hearings, and it's beautiful in the background, Michael.
Thank you.
All right, guys, let me just pull up my opening remarks, and we're just gonna go ahead and get started. Makes sense at this point. So 10:04.
Hey, Daryl.
Good morning.
Morning, Daryl.
Good morning.
Morning. Great. Okay,
Good
Daryl.
morning.
All right, so since we have I think we're all set to go, guys, okay? So we're gonna formally start the committee hearing today. Good morning, everyone.
Good
Oh, wait.
morning.
Carrie, are we good? Are we recording? I'm sorry, I didn't check.
You're all set, good to go.
Sorry about that. As I stated, good morning, everyone. I'm City Councilor Lydia Edwards, Chair of the Committee on Government Operations. It's Tuesday, September 29th, and we are here today for a virtual hearing on docket 1003, petition for a special law regarding an act directing the City of Boston Police Department to waive the maximum age requirement for police officer Daryl LaMonica. This matter is sponsored by Councilor Frank Baker and referred to the committee on September 23rd, 2020. In accordance with Governor Baker's March 12th executive order modifying open meeting laws, we're able to have this hearing via Zoom. This protects the public and allows us to do our daily business and continue to serve the public. The public may watch this meeting via live stream at www.boston.gov/city-council-TV. It will also be rebroadcasted at a later date on Comcast 8, RCN 82, Verizon 1964. For public testimony, written comments may be sent to the committee email at ccc.go@boston.gov and will be made part of the record. A quick summary before I turn it over to the lead sponsor. The home rule petition would authorize the City of Boston's Police Department to waive the maximum age for the original appointment of police officers only for Daryl LaMonica. To provide background information and for education purposes, there's a state law, Chapter 31, Section 58A, currently provides that the maximum age for original appointment as a police officer is 32, as of the date of entrance examination, and also allows credit for military service. However, Chapter 43 of the Acts of 2007 raised the age of original appointment as a police officer in Boston by providing that no person shall be eligible for original appointment of a police officer in Boston if such person has reached their 40th birthday on the date of the entrance exam. This home rule petition relates specifically to Daryl LaMonica and does not alter the policies of the Boston Police Department. Mr. LaMonica would still be required to meet all qualifications in order to become a police officer, including passing the exam, physical capabilities, and successful completion of the academy. This home rule petition is the mechanism that would allow for Mr. LaMonica to be certified for original appointment. I will now turn it over, before I turn it over to the lead sponsor, Councilor Baker, for opening remarks, I'm going to first acknowledge my colleagues who are here today. Along with the lead sponsor, Frank Baker, we also have District 9 City Councilor Liz Braden, at-large City Councilor Michael Flaherty, and at-large City Councilor Anissa Sabi George. Have I missed any of my colleagues? Very well. And Councilor Baker, before I turn it over to you, do you mind if we kind of move this hearing along as fast as possible, getting folks to do short opening remarks and making sure that the star of the show, potential Officer LaMonica, will get right to telling his story?
Madam Chair, I have no problem with that. You know, I I don't mind people speaking less than more.
Very well then, Councilor Baker, it's yours, and then we turn it over.
Thank you. So this is actually my fourth time doing an age waiver. And one person has actually gone through, like you had said earlier, Daryl will still be responsible for all the home visits and that stuff to just get into the academy, which I believe he's in the middle of right now. This is a type of thing where the police could go through the entire process and then at the end of it say, well, you're 2 months old or whatever that age is. We're just looking to I think grant him a waiver, which would be 3 months or so. He was 3 months too old when he took the test. So again, was in a class already, failed, left because of academics, I believe, and he'll tell us that story. And ironically enough, there is a person that was in that class with Daryl that was my last was an age waiver, and that gentleman I think was 45 years old when he first went into the academy, and he's been on for 4 years and totally loves the job. Thank you.
Thank you. To my colleagues, as I mentioned, brevity is key, but I will turn it over to you before we turn it over to Mr. LaMonica. Councilor Braden?
I'm going to be very brief. I have no comments. I look forward to hearing Mr. LaMonica's story and let you go. On you go.
Thank you. Councilor Flaherty?
Thank you, Elsie. I'll be brief. It's good to see Daryl. Obviously, I'm aware of his situation and the circumstances surrounding his previous withdrawal and the tragedy that his family endured. So I'll listen carefully, and my recommendation obviously will be to support the author and the chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilor Sabi George?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to the maker. It's good to see Daryl. Look forward to his testimony today and brief proceedings, if I could dare request such. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. With that, Mr. LaMonica, we'd love to hear your story.
Thank you. Good morning. I'll start off by saying 2017, I was in the police academy. I did have 2 deaths in my family prior to going into the academy. And my personality is I try to take care of everybody, and that was my downfall in the academy. It was a lack of focus on the academic portion of it. As my sister, my mom died, so I was trying to take care of my sister. My elder sister was going through a divorce. I was always on her side, trying to make sure she was okay. My son broke his femur playing hockey, so I had a lot going on. I have 2 sons myself. I'm married. You know, it just a lot on my plate at that time. But it also works out good because now I know where my focus has to be, and where I went wrong. And I have to take care of myself this time and focus on what I have to focus on. Thank you.
So just to, I don't know if anyone will just go in order of questions and thoughts. Councillor Baker.
I don't really have any questions. I've known people in Daryl's family my whole life, really, really good family. From what I understand, when Daryl was in the previous class, because I have spoken with people that were in the class and also some of the people that were in charge, everybody said, it was a shame to lose him when they lost him. Physically and having the mind to get it to be a police officer, I think Daryl absolutely has, and to give him this chance. I know it's a large ask, but I think when we look back at it, and if Daryl is fortunate enough to get through not only this process but the state home rule process and then the police process, I believe if he gets through all that stuff, we're going to have a really good police officer on our hands. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Councillor Braden.
Thank you. I'm just curious, Daryl, curious about the reasons why you want to be a police officer.
You know what? I've always wanted to be a police officer since I was young. So what's funny is I never realized the reason I wanted to be a police officer until I was in the academy. And I know it might sound weird, but I love to help people. I really do. And I think that was my main reason for being a police officer.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Councillor Brader?
No, not at the moment. Thank you.
Very well. Councillor Flaherty.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Daryl, good to see you this morning. And how far along in the first academy were you in? And then obviously there was a tragedy that impacted your family. And if you could maybe just briefly describe that to the best of your ability. And I know it's not an easy thing to do, but I'm sure it played a role in you not having the appropriate amount of focus, particularly on the academic side of the academy rigors.
Yes. So I was in the academy for 2.5 months. The first, I think I would say about 3 weeks, it was just workouts. And then we started the academic portion. And every Monday we had an exam. And it was probably anywhere from 7 to 9 subjects. And I was 38 at the time when I went into the academy. So it's been 20 years since I was in the classroom, studying and everything. So, I mean, that really didn't, that somewhat affected me maybe, but it was more my personal issues that it was the lack of focus that I had.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Very well. Councillor Sabi George.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't know if this is a question for you or for Councillor Baker, but I am curious about the process. So if this petition passes the council, then passes the State House, where is Mr. LaMonica in the process with Boston Police? This needs to be completed, I assume, prior to acceptance to the academy. And then where are we in that time frame?
So when and if this passes here again through us, Mayor needs to sign it, and as quickly as we possibly can. I've already spoken with Reps Hunt, Beal, and Senator Collins about helping us getting this through. I'm not really sure where they are in their process up the State House, or if they're going to be able to when they're able to take this up. I think the best timing for Daryl is the fact that COVID is pushing the class out a little bit. I think last I heard potentially November, which would give us October, and then a little, hopefully 6 weeks or so to get it up to the State House and pass it through. Because Daryl, I believe, is in the police process now of home visits and psych visits and whatever else they do to just allow them to come into the academy.
Thank you, Counselor Baker. So, Mr. LaMonica, where are you in the process with the Boston Police Department, and what does the timeline look like? Where are you in the process, and how much more time is there to go through that process?
So like Mr. Baker said, it's here, say November, would be the academy class. And right now, I already did the application, had my interview. I went into headquarters for fingerprints, photo IDs, and I had my home visit, and we're getting notified by email. So I'm just waiting on, I think the next step would be medical. And then after medical, you pass that, then it would be the PAT.
And when do they make decisions on your admission to the next class? Do you know when that notification comes out?
I do not.
All right, that's fine. I'm just curious where we are in the process and the timeline. Thank you, Madam Chair. That's it for me.
Thank you. Just a few sweep up questions or clarifications. If you've answered this already, I apologize. But it seems like some of my colleagues are more familiar with you than I am. I'm the city councilor from East Boston. And so where do you live? Are you born and raised here in Boston? Are you living in where?
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes, I born in South Boston, and I moved to Dorchester with my wife and children. We've been in Dorchester maybe 16 years now.
Okay. And so, I think it's great that then you want to serve in the community that raised you, right? I'm assuming that's a good thing.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
So normally, what is it, 32 to start the academy, and you would be 32 in 3 months? Is that what or 40 in or something?
The
Counselor,
the 32 was the max age. That was they changed it maybe about 10 years ago or so to 39, and I always read it as 40. They never, and so I thought 40 was my last chance. So I took the test in March, which I was 40 years old, and I turned 40 in December, which I was 3 months past due, say.
Okay, 3 months then. And so, is there a specific lead sponsor, Counselor Baker, or you just have some guys, like who's going to carry this at the State House?
Well, the rep, it'll either be Hunter or Beal, maybe both of them. And Nick Collins will do it in the Senate.
I do want to commend Mr. LaMonica. I feel he's being very direct and honest. He's not trying to ask for any excuses. He's saying he understands why he's needing this second chance. And while you could have brought up other personal things, you really pushed that aside and said, I didn't stay focused and I needed to stay focused. And so
Yes.
I wanted to say I really appreciate that honesty, and even if you're basically owning it. And I do
Yes.
appreciate that, Mr. LaMonica. And then I just also wanted to just for some context, as I understand, the State House is a little bit all over the place. Their budget's behind, everything is all over the place. And so I trust in our State House colleagues to be able to get this through. But if this particular moment they can't get it through, I want you to know, if I understand the law correctly, Councilor Baker could file this again, correct, Councilor Baker? And we could do this and still push for you in the State House next year. So with the months that we have right now, I mean, we don't have a state budget. They're still arguing over the empowerment. They're still arguing over police reform. They're doing all of these different things as well in this moment. So I just wanted you to know, Mr. LaMonica, it may have nothing to do if it doesn't happen this year. But
Okay.
we, city councilor, can do it again next year. We're hopeful. Sorry, Councilor Baker, I didn't mean to I spoke over too much. Councilor Baker.
No, I just had a point to make. I believe that if this goes up there and say the timing doesn't work out for this cadet class, I believe the waiver is with Daryl. So
Okay.
even if we don't make that make that initial, which we want to try and do it so he can get into this class. If not, the waiver is with him. And JR, the person that did get into Daryl's last class was 48 years old when he got in.
Okay,
Former New York police officer, went out disabled, always wanted to get on Boston. So it took him 20 plus years, but we got him in.
very well. Well, I do not have any further questions. Do any of my colleagues have any questions? Any final remarks?
I have a question.
Counselor Baker.
Daryl, what, like, where did you go to high school, and did you start working right out of high school? What do you do for work now?
Yes, so I went to South Boston High School. I graduated in 1997. And a couple, I worked some jobs, but then when I was like 19, I started in local 17 sheet metal in Boston, and I currently still employed there.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair.
You're welcome. So we'll just do concluding remarks. Mr. LaMonica, did you have anything you wanted to say to us before we went through and said our also, I guess, our goodbyes?
No, ma'am. Just thank you for your time.
Very well. So I'll go in reverse order and have lead sponsor end. So Counselor Sabi George.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Daryl, for being with us and sharing a little bit of your story and your experiences with us. I don't have any further questions or comments. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to the maker.
Thank you. Counselor Flaherty.
No further questions, Madam Chair. Good luck to Daryl and LaMonica family.
Thank
Thank
you. Counselor Braden.
No further questions. I just wanted to wish Daryl all the best, embarking on a new career at later, and not a rookie coming in his 20s. So he brings his life experience to this job. So I wish him all the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Baker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Same. I'd like to just, Daryl, wish you the best, and I also would prefer a little bit of a mature brain when you give them a gun and a badge. So thank you. Good luck,
Thank you.
Daryl.
Thank
So
you.
my intention to my colleagues and to Mr. LaMonica is to bring this up for a vote tomorrow. So thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Everybody. Have a good day. See you at the
See
next.
everybody.
Thank you, everyone.